Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Roast.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
We are here with our latest edition of Big Brother 28 live feed spoilers. This has been a whirlwind the past 24 hours. I think from the moment D won HOH, which, congratulations to you. You called this yesterday.
Listen, she was in so much trouble, and now that Diamond Power veto is gone, she needed to get herself into power. I felt she was going to fight really hard for this.
I guess a lot of other people probably were like, all right, here we go. Predictable week in the Big Brother house. Everything is going to be a little bit slow. And instead, we get one of the weirdest, most baffling, and I will say terrible examples of gameplay that we have seen from someone presumably with a lot of reality TV experience in a while.
Yeah, it's really weird. And we're going to get into these weird choices that she's making. But she's even said, like, hey, if I'm, making a bad choice here of what I'm doing, and I just look stupid on TV, then that's what happens. And it's just like, yeah, that is what's happening. Like this move that you're making, it's really wacky. I don't understand it. Like, I'm not in the house with you, so I don't know what it is that you're thinking or the paranoia that's going through you, but like, girl.
This is a very sad time for a lot of the Druthers out there. And I know.
I know all the Druthers in the crib, all crying with Drew on the feeds.
And listen, as a member of Team Melody here, we can be upset at times for Drew and some of his choices, but
he's made some bad choices.
But on a friendship level, just like Melody can be there for Drew, we can all be there for Drew as well and just sort of be like, what is happening here? What are you going through, my guy?
Okay, but before we go any further, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are here every single day with live feed updates. And also, it was just announced that The Pit is going to be back in January for season 3. And here's a very quick story time. Just let me waste your time for just a second. So they have a reoccurring guest actor that's going to be on this season, Chris Demetopoulos. He is somebody who was Mo in the Three Stooges. He played Robin Williams in, Robin Williams's life story. He voices Mickey Mouse. He is also in a film that I made 25 years ago called Drop Dead Roses that I directed and wrote, and I casted him as the villain in that film. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Chris and say congratulations. Like, your career's really been taking off. I'm so proud of you. It's very exciting that you're going to be on The Pit, this huge Emmy award winning show. Like, good job, my man. We're going to be covering it, so hit that subscribe button if you're into The Pit.
Yeah, so we really, really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm so happy for Chris too. And it's just like he's
just such a nice person. He's like legitimately one of the nicest people I have ever had the pleasure of meeting or working with. He's just genuinely a very sweet person.
And it's super fun. He's got all these credits, and here I am. He's the guy with the doors that go like this on Silicon Valley.
Yeah, he was also on Silicon Valley.
I don't know why. I loved him on that show. So, all right. So, D is head of household, and it's just like thinking back to what feels like ages ago. Like originally, it did just seem like, all right. So these nominations are going to be Taylor, Lala, and Yash. Here we go. We're going to take a one-way trip to Predictable Town. This whole week is going to be easy to read. Right?
Yeah, and then we ended up back where we were in a time machine. Beep, bop, 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 boop. We are in the past. Oh, look, it's a couple of weeks ago. And all of a sudden, everyone in the tool shed's like, who's the problem? It's Drew. Drew is the person who's been like backstabbing us and doing all these things to us and not really understanding that, yes, Drew is playing this other side of the house because they had told him to. And he was bringing back information. And he has been consistently doing that the whole season. He has been a pipeline of information. And I know there's a lot of people online that are like, oh, he's a rat for bringing all this information, but that's the game that he's playing. And I don't think that he's a rat. I think that he is part of an alliance and he is gathering information to share with the people he is working with. That's what they're all supposed to be doing, sharing information, and they are all doing that. It's just Drew's been doing it the best, and I think because he's been doing it the best, he became a target a little while ago, and then he was kind of able to smooth it over. But like, D is all out, Drew's going up, Drew is a target, Drew's going home. I can't believe we're back here again. And it exploded into such messy drama at this point that by the end of all of this, Drew was just crying by himself. He doesn't really understand, I guess, what's been going on because he's in the house, right? And he thinks, I've been loyal to them. I've been working with them. I've been bringing them all this information. I actually haven't ever not voted with them. Why is this happening to me? What is it that I did?
It's a very hard, even if we were to put on like metaphorical lab coats and try to be scientists and try to understand, come up with a real hypothesis, like it is almost impossible to recognize what DC's is the value in going after someone who has been so loyal, at times frustratingly loyal to the crossovers for most.
Over Yash. And
Yes.
we will get into that bribe, but
Yes.
like, Yash is safe? How is that a thing? Why did you make this? D, you are frustrating me to no end.
Yes.
You are making so many bad choices in a row.
And it all is so weird. And like, okay, let's try to figure some of this out. It's like, why is it always Drew? And here's one very
Yes.
silly theory that I have, and that is just he's constantly being compared to the other person in the crossovers who is giving information, and unfortunately, that person is Barrett. And there are a lot of things I really wish I could say in this video about Barrett, but I'm trying my best to restrain myself because
Let's go, Matt. What are these things that you wish to say about Barrett?
D could tell him, Barrett, I need you to go into the bathroom with a bowl of slop, and I need you to just dig your face into this slop and do this every day in the bathroom for the rest of the season. And Barrett,
With a snap of her fingers, he will be in there.
Barrett would be like, yes, please. And how about 2 bowls of slop, D? Would that be enough for you? Would that be? It's just like he is so deferential to the point where it is infuriating that I'm just wondering, is that like by comparison, because Drew is not that extreme, is he all of a sudden the bad guy? Like, is that a part of what's going on here?
Yeah, like even the information that she's been told about him, it's flimsy at best. Like, it's not that he hasn't like agreed with, maybe D is going to be the plan. Oh, okay, I'm in a room with people that I'm not working with. I guess I better say, yeah, okay, sure, that sounds like a good plan. What is he supposed to do? He's supposed to just like lay it all out and be like, actually, guys, I'm working with D, so like, let's not do that. Even if he didn't say it as bluntly as that, the minute that you're defending the icons this far into the game, you might as well have a big sign on your head that says, I am working with D.
That's the thing. Like he's trying to play the game the best way that he knows how, and that is at times agreeing with what people are saying. And this brings us back to Yash, and we can tell the full story of everything that happened here with what D ends up doing with the BB bribe powers. So originally what D had said she kind of wanted to do with the power this time around was go to Drew and have this sort of conversation and be like, you can have this money if you agree to protect me, these other people, for like a huge percentage of the game. But production came in and was like, nope, you can't do that. You can't like make some sort of promise that somebody has to fulfill like every single week for the rest of the game here, D.
D, he's already doing this for free.
It is really funny watching. D has tried every single possible way to use this power like it is some sort of like unlimited lives cheat code. And she is just like trying to break it. And I mean, eventually though, she does come up with this idea with Yash. So she has a long conversation with Yash that unfortunately they decide to cut away from the good portion of it.
Course.
I'm guessing there's probably some legalese in here because the bribe is technically like a binding contractual thing that Yash has to actually fulfill. But the offer that's decided upon here is that Yash gets this money, the $5,000, all the Chipotle is his, but in return, if he wins head of household for that next particular time, it's not like every head of household he wins, but the next one, he has to protect the icons and
all of them. So last week as HOH, he said no to protecting D and Angela and just D. But this week, $5,000 buys all 3 of them. I was just like, I get it, Yash. You were probably going to go up if D ended up winning HOH and that you would take something like this. But at the same time, D, He would absolutely, if he wins HOH, put you up again. Just get him out, because this only lasts for the one time he ends up being the HOH. But he can vote against you all the time. It doesn't actually stop him from getting you out of the house.
This is the thing. Everything about this to me is really, really baffling. Like, I do, yes, I understand the idea that if you're Yash, you don't want to go on the block, you take the 5,000 or whatever. But it's just
Sure.
like, at the same time, if you are D, yeah, you should kind of want Yash out regardless of anything, because
Get
he
him
is this
out.
big competition threat. And also, yeah, sure, Yash took this offer, but let's just say the next HOH competition rolls around. Yash is at the end with Taylor. He doesn't want to put up the icons. He probably still wants the icons out. He can just throw the HOH to Taylor. This does not mean that he is not allowed to throw head of households. There's still like
Yeah.
little workarounds he can figure out what to do with, right?
Absolutely. He doesn't have to win HOHs, and he can then still get them out. Like, it's way more dangerous keeping Yash in the game
Yeah.
and giving him only this one condition. If you happen to win another HOH all season long, you can't put us up. Unless, of course, they're in a situation where it's like the final 5, the final 3, or the final 4, and he's sitting there with 3 icons. Like, what's he going to do?
Well, this is the other thing to me, and I know what I'm about to say sounds really, really cutthroat, but this is Big Brother. I mean, you have to assume that D has already burned Yash anyway, right? So
Yes.
you give him the power. I mean, well, you make the deal. You give him the
Mhm.
5,000. Why not just nominate him anyway? Because, like, the thing is, sure, he's going to be mad, and you guys made, like, a handshake deal that he wouldn't go on the block, but that's not binding. That's not like the BB bribe. You can bounce that check and do whatever it is that you want.
That's right.
He still can't nominate you if he wins head of household. So it's like he still has to fulfill his end of the bargain. It still gets him an element of immunity, but you're not making an enemy of anyone else. You're just putting up Yash. Like, you can wash your hands so much cleaner doing that.
Way cleaner of doing that. She should still take that shot at Yash. This doesn't really solve the voting problem of all of this, because he can still vote against her when she's on the block, and he will.
This is the other thing that made this whole feed cut thing so infuriating, is that in addition to this bribe stuff that was going down, it seems like a lot of throwing Drew under the bus was also going down here,
Pretty
because
badly.
yeah, like the biggest mistake Drew has made in the last 24 hours is coming out of the last eviction show where Camus left. Yash wasn't really aware of everything that was happening. Neither was Lala.
Mhm.
Drew tries to paint this picture to Yash and basically explain that both Melody and Mallory are really at fault for a lot of things with this eviction because they didn't want to keep Camus. So he's trying to shift this information. And if you're Yash, you have no incentive to keep that to yourself. Like, you can tell Melody and Mallory, which he did. We have to assume he probably spilled a lot of beans to D when the feeds were off, too.
Absolutely. It was a huge game mistake, which everyone is going to end up making in this game.
Yes.
So it's like, yes, he definitely, that was a mistake. He didn't have to be over there saying anything. He
No.
didn't have to do any of this, but he did.
And this is the crazy thing to me about it, though. If you're D, yeah, he did this at the expense of the FAP people. He didn't do this at the expense of you. Like, as
No.
weird and counterintuitive as it is, like, isn't this a good thing? Isn't this kind of being like, oh, he is more loyal to me, to
That's
the
right.
crossovers than the FAP? But
right.
instead, this leads up to, it's not a full house meeting, but it's like a pseudo partial house meeting where all of the mosh pit end up being up in the HOH room, and Drew starts to be grilled kind of mildly about some things that Yash was saying about when and where he threw out D's name on Yash's HOH. Is he going after Angela? And like the whole thing. Let's go back into a time machine again and go back to Big Brother 17 for a moment.
Ooh, beep, bop, 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 boop. We are in the box.
Oh, look how great this is. This is Big Brother 7. I love Big Brother 17. But like this is very, and I'm not saying D is anywhere near as good right now as Vanessa Russo was, but this is something that Vanessa did all the time, where she was desperate to find a reason for every single move that she did. And so she would circle and circle and circle and drive everyone up the wall. But it felt like the whole purpose of this was to try to find a way to where Drew slips up, some sort of mess happens and she can justify getting rid of Drew, something she has been paranoid about for several weeks now.
Yeah, and that's exactly what has happened.
Yeah, like eventually Yash ends up being dragged into the HOH room. They do kind of this back and forth, and then all of a sudden Drew is somehow in the wrong, that Drew is not defiant enough with Yash. He's not like straight up denying everything that Yash is saying. He's basically riding the fence and being like, yeah, Kamu was saying these things. I was saying like, yeah, but that's the sort of thing you're supposed to say when you're
Yes.
in the room. And but he came off very like unaware that some of this was going to be happening, because why would he think that? He's in a 7-person alliance, and to Angela and to Dee, he just came across as kind of wishy-washy and not doing enough to stand up for them.
Yes, he did come across that way, but at the same time, I mean, I said, what is he supposed to do when he's actually in that first situation with Yash and Kamu and everyone's like, oh, D. What is he supposed to say other than keep quiet or sure, whatever you want? You're the HOH, like,
Yes.
okay.
Well, at this point, we're all collectively like freaking out here because the power has yet to enter the game. And we're like, okay, we know the time capsule was probably for Drew. It was either him or Taylor. Like these
Yep.
were all the votes. So Drew's going to get it. And then we find out, oh, Drew did get the power.
Womp womp. It's that stupid have not pass that we were complaining about back when all the powers showed up. It is
Yes.
the absolute worst. Even when Dee and Angela found out about it, they were laughing about it because it is so bad.
Production. Okay.
There is no power in this.
We all need to have a talk. So production, come into our office for a minute. Sit down at this chair, and we're gonna lecture you like we're principals
That's
here.
right. How dare you?
If you wanted to beat like the claims online of mass rigging going on here
No kidding.
for
Oh
the
my
Survivor
goodness.
players for the icons, like at the very least, should you let like one non-icon get something that's inherently, I don't know, useful? Like Jess and I, we try to avoid talking about have-nots because it's just, unless it was a storyline like it was briefly for like a week this season, they are such a waste with this show.
It doesn't affect the game at
No.
all. This isn't a reward at all. Everything else is a power, and this is not. He can't use this to do anything
It just
except eat an egg. Like, there's nothing else he can do with this power. It doesn't actually help him. What a waste.
This destroyed my absolute dream. My dream was that if he wasn't going to get the coin of destiny, that he was going to get the mystery competitor. And then we were going to have Keanu come into the house. And then Keanu was going to go to Drew and be like, Drew, I've been watching the game this whole time. I think you're running the show. I think he's just going to give all these
my
terrible
God.
reads.
I am never voting ever again in these CBS things. You have screwed me over so many times with this.
Look at what you have done. You have broken Jess's heart.
It's fine. I don't really ever vote in these things, but I'm totally invested in Drew. He's from Temecula.
I
We live
know.
in Temecula. He looks like my little brother. I just can't help it. Like, I voted, and this is what you did. Bruh.
And like,
I'm so
Drew,
disappointed.
like Drew tried to use this as some sort of leverage. Oh, I'm going to tell you guys about the power. But the problem is, when your power sucks, it's not really something that you have to hide from anyone. So you don't buy any trust telling people that you have this.
The problem is it doesn't matter what he brings to build trust.
Yeah.
He should have earned all of their trust long ago with the amount of information he has brought back. You're right. The problem is that Barrett is playing the exact same game, but because he's so loyal to Dee and he's, giving her the kiss on the cheek and hugging her and following her around anything she wants, he's just the more valuable information pipeline than Drew. But this was Drew's game from the start, even before Barrett was doing any of this.
Devin's literally said over the past few hours, I wish Drew was more like Barrett. Like, this is like so you guys just want a total yes man who's going to do everything you want exactly when you want it so that you can control them.
And he does. That's what's so crazy about it. He has voted. No, I'm not going over it again. I always keep going over it. But he has done everything that you guys have wanted.
And he even tried his best in the 11th hour to go back to D here to try to apologize, because they have made him feel like he is completely in the wrong for all these things that he has done. And like he has tried to go back and kiss the ring. And in this last conversation, like, I think he did as good of a job as he could possibly do. And then he went and like groveled a little bit to Angela, and like Angela saying, "Oh, maybe I will stick up for you." And it's just like seemingly none of that really even matters.
I just feel so bad for him because he actually didn't do anything wrong.
Well,
And he's such a young guy. Like, I feel so bad for him.
here's how I guess some of the other FAP people are taking this for now, where it is Melody and Mallory, like they are legitimately annoyed with Drew and
Yep.
what Drew did and throwing them under the bus to Yash. And like they absolutely should be.
He's in huge trouble.
Yeah, and like they acted like they were okay with Drew being nominated to D, but like at the end of the day, they've talked about it with each other and they have just sort of said, we don't actually want Drew to leave this week. And if nothing else, maybe their trust is broken for now. But it's like, if D is doing this to him, like, how can he ever stay loyal to the icon? Like, maybe if he stays, he will actually go after the icons. And like, that's their way of thinking at this point.
At this point, I also, if I was the two of them, I'd be like, hey, I thought we were all in an alliance together called the Mosh Pit. Why
Yeah.
are you putting Drew up? Or is this alliance not actually an alliance? I would have laid that out in front of everybody to be like, are we in an alliance or not in an alliance? Like, what is going on? If they end up putting him up, that would be a conversation I would want to have to be like, okay, so
Mhm.
alliance broken then? Because what's happening here with Drew?
Well, that is something that, okay, here's some breaking news for everybody.
Oh,
There were 5 seconds where Barrett actually pushed back in a conversation with D, where he did. I know this is a big groundbreaking stuff here. He actually did raise that very idea to her of, this is going to look questionable for Mallory and Melody. And yeah, like D may think that they're all good with it because what else are they going to say to D?
course.
Like, yeah, they're going to be all good with it because they're not the ones going on the block here.
That's right.
But I mean, Drew's still gonna have a chance. Obviously, he's got the veto, he's got the blockbuster, like he's got multiple up, and also this is D, and I think we all do have to collectively remember that. Like she has changed her mind so many times this season already. Okay, so Drew, Lala, and Taylor, they are on the block. There are all these opportunities for it to change, though.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like D has wanted Taylor out for a while as well.
Yeah.
So it's only Friday. It is possible that she ends up changing over to Taylor.
Yeah, and another thing that I can understand there being some questions about right now, and this is, why is she suddenly trying to be loyal to Yash, or even with this deal with Yash, or why isn't she considering Haley? It does feel like there's some sort of odd respect that D has for the idea that Yash has won some competitions and is sort of pulling his weight, and she's kind of has this whole I want to go against competitors sort of mindset, which I don't really understand.
No, I don't understand. Like I maybe you're able to do that when you're already sitting on $1 million and you're
Yes.
like, it's all just play money now. But like, come on, it's still a lot of money.
Yeah, and then Haley, it seems like Dee really feels like her and Angela can rope back in Haley because Haley's like this pseudo free agent. She
Yep.
doesn't really have anywhere else to go. And
Yep.
it's like, sure, that's theoretically possible, but I kind of feel like Haley is in a spot where she has no real reason to actually trust anybody at this point. It's like if she gets into HOH power again, I'm actually not that sure what she would do.
Well, that's the thing. If somebody wins the veto and pulls himself off the block, I feel like Haley is probably the person that's going up. It's probably not going to be a big move like Yash, something that she should do.
Yeah.
And it's probably not going to be Melody and Mallory at this point. It's probably just going to be Haley.
Yeah, and that's the other weird, very strange mistake of all of this with Drew, is it's that you've already done all this work to alienate possibly all of FAP except for Barrett and putting Drew on the block. If he wins and removes himself, then you have basically lost potentially 3 people out of this group for no real reason when you had so many other options right now in the game.
Yeah, this is a very questionable move. I really don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, could it work out for her? Sure, but it may just be luck. Because I think if we're being honest, the icons, they've had a lot of luck this season already.
Here's the other thing. I am someone who stands on this hill. Jury management, it really, really matters. And there's a lot of moving parts of the people that are left in the game right now that as we inch closer and closer to that jury, people are getting more more and more like upset with D and these moves and things that are happening, and people aren't trusting her and aren't feeling that great about the way that she's playing the game. And these are the people that are left in the game that are going to end up being part of the jury at some point. So I really feel like even though D had been playing a pretty good game, this week is a little messy and she's had some messy spots. I think she's going to have a very hard time with the jury.
I agree. And it's really interesting too, because I think coming into this, we all would have been like, Dee's a better player than Devon's. But this season,
Would we have said that?
she was a winner. Devon's hadn't won. So, like,
I get it, but no, I wouldn't say that. I think she's a really good player, but I think Devon's is a better player.
I think Devon's is a better player this season, like 100%. I think he beats her easily with jury management this season.
That's what it's all about. Everybody always forgets about that, and they just are like, I just need to get to the end of the game. Okay, but once you're there, if the jury doesn't vote for you, you lose.
Well, that is where we are with this edition of Big Brother 28 live feed spoilers. So we want to hear from you guys. Where are you at with everything Dee has done with Drew? Is it a huge mistake? Is she right to try to get Drew before Drew gets her? I know he's talked about wanting them out eventually, but certainly not yet, right?
No, wet fart. Don't like this.
All right. Well, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you do not miss any other updates. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you here next time.